welcome, Ayubowan. Now in this lesson, it's in the advanced pillar speaking, and we are going to have a look at a complete speaking test, right? So we're going to look at speaking part 1, 2 and 3, okay? Now, as I always tell you, when you do this lesson or when you watch this lesson, at the end, please don't just move to the next lesson. Please practice. Find words, sentence phrases and structures that are useful to talk about the daily routine. Okay, now if you've come from the beginner pillar, right, we've done daily routine, I've taught you vocabulary, we've done speaking, right? So by now, you should be able to speak on your own few sentences, right? And then you should be able to explain part 2 and part 3. I mean, for the real exam, you don't get daily routine for part 1, part 2 and part 3, okay? This is for me to touch on the topic, right? Do you understand? For the actual exam, you will not get just one topic daily routine, part 1, part 2 and part 3. No, no, no. Okay, it's the structure that I taught you. Part 1, 12 questions among 3 topics. Part 2, you get a cue card, separate topic. Questions will be related. Part 3 questions will be related to the part 2. Here, I want to show you, if it is daily routine, what are the probable questions for part 1? What kind of cue card could come for part 2? What kind of questions could they ask for part 3? Okay, I hope it's clear. Don't get confused. Now, if we look at a typical part 1, okay, they could ask you questions like, when do you wake up? Well, I'm usually a morning person, so I wake up early in the morning at about 5 o'clock. Or you can say I'm usually an early bird. Let me just change the color to blue. Early bird. Okay. Or some people say morning person, where you like to work in the morning. Okay. You could use that word here as well. You can say, I'm usually early bird. I get up early in the morning around 5 o'clock and I like to do things in the morning because I'm a morning person, right? So, well, I'm a morning riser and I wake up at about 5 o'clock. Getting up early not only makes me feel refreshed and productive, but also prevents my skin from having wrinkles. Oh, nice tip. Okay. But usually, anyway, I get up in the morning, right? So if I was to answer this, I would say, well, since I'm an early bird, I usually get up around 5 o'clock and I start off with the day by preparing breakfast and the morning tea, etc. Okay? Right. What is your daily routine? Now remember, when you talk about the daily routine, usually it is the present tense, simple present tense, okay? I get up at 5 o'clock, I prepare breakfast for my family. After that, I go and have a wash. Usually, you know, I've always been thinking I should work out. Trust me, it's never happened for the years, right? So this answer though has a nice one. Well, in the morning, I get up early to have a light breakfast and hit the gym at about 8 a.m. After 1 hour of workout, I leave the gym club and go to the supermarket to buy food and prepare lunch and dinner. In the afternoon and evening, I go to my workplace and start working from 2 p.m. until 9 p.m. Seems like a different routine. I would say, well, I wake up at about 5 o'clock in the morning. I then start to prepare breakfast. After that, I go and have a shower and I get ready for my morning classes. So usually I have morning lectures from about 8 till about 2 p.m. and then I have my lunch. I relax a bit. In the evening, some days I have classes and then I obviously do those classes. If not, I go and pick up the kids from the daycare and I bring them back home. We usually have dinner at about 7 o'clock, and then we put the kids to bed around 8ish. After they go to sleep, my husband and I, we come back, we come out of the room, and then both of us have dinner. We watch a bit of television, we talk to each other, we've had a busy day, so we talk to each other, and then we go to bed, right? So that's the usual routine. You would be using the simple present tense as much as possible. Think about these things before you start talking, right? All right, so moving ahead, what part of the day do you like the most? I enjoy it late at night when I come home from work and everything is filled with dim grey light. To me, it's a great time to kick back on the bed, to have a chit-chat with my roommates, surf the internet, listen to music, and watch a favorite movie. Wow, it's just in my mind, the time like that. So, what part of the day do you like the most? I would prefer the nighttime the most because I'm not a very morning person. Okay, so now if you used morning person here, remember here, then don't say I'm not a very morning person. Okay, if you use it there, then you can say morning time is the best time for you. If not, you could say, well, I like the nighttime the most because I get time to spend with my kids, I get to talk to them, play with them, and be by their side. And then of course, it's some family time because we talk to each other, we have a chit chat, we talk to each other, we share our thoughts, how our day was. So that is what is important, and I really like that moment. So you could talk about what part of the day do you like the most? Morning, maybe afternoon, maybe evening, or maybe nighttime, whichever one you like. So let me write down the words. You could say morning, or you could say evening. Sorry, afternoon. After morning, it's afternoon. Or you could say evening. Or you could say nighttime. Right? Okay. Do you think it is important to have a daily routine? Well, I personally think it's good to have a daily routine. One thing is that, it's good for the kids, firstly, because kids, when they're in a routine, they know what to do, right? So they know they need to get up in the morning, have their breakfast, get dressed, go out for the daycare, come back home, they have a wash, they have their dinner, they go to bed, they have their milk, and they sleep, right? So it's quite straightforward. It's much easier. When we have a daily routine, we know what we need to do next. If not, it feels a bit messy and then your day becomes a chaos, right? Because you don't know what you have to do, you've missed on certain things, and maybe it will be really stressful by the end of the day, right? So I feel in order to be efficient and in order to feel stress-free, it's good to have a daily routine to put everything in its proper place, okay? So yes, it is. A proper daily routine will help you arrange your activities most sensibly. I wouldn't say most, I would say most sensibly, okay? Without a daily routine, people usually do things spontaneously. Spontaneously kya hai? Hitumate. Okay? That's true, right? If I don't have like a weekend routine, right? Saturday is like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. And it becomes very spontaneous. And then your kids also go really crazy by the end of the day. And you're tired and stressed because everyone's unsettled, which could waste their time and reduce their work efficiency. True. I think those who are disorganized can gain more benefits from creating a daily routine. Totally agree, okay? So having a daily routine gives you, it doesn't mean that you must do it, right? But it gives you an ease. Okay, I've done the breakfast, I've got everything packed up, I next need to take a wash. It's like a to-do list. You tick it from your mind. Okay, I need to get dressed, I need to go to work. today I need to teach this unit. It just keeps going and you feel very organized. If not, you get up, you're like, okay, so what am I going to do today? What do I do first? Should I teach? Should I have breakfast? You know, confusion, stressful, right? All right. What's the difference in routine between you and your teenage times, right? Well, I feel there is a lot of difference. When I was a teenager, life was much more carefree for me. So I would just get up, have my breakfast. My mom used to prepare it. So I just ate my morning breakfast. And if it was a school day, Dad used to drop me to school. Then I come back home. And then I used to do my homework or maybe extra classes or extracurricular activities. And then we have dinner. I read book. I used to read a lot, so I read books. If not, you know, if I had extra classes or activities, do my homework and then go to bed. And it was very easy. Weekends were quite free. I didn't go for a lot of classes. There was lots of free time for me. So I would just relax, read books, watch movies. Talk to my parents, you know, spend time visiting my relations. It was much more calm. Now, my routine's much more hectic because I've got to prepare food. Everything that my mom did, I've got to do it now, right? So I've got to prepare the food. I've got to go shopping for groceries. I've got to make sure the kids are dropped at the daycare, you know. Everything's more routine and I've got lots of more things on my list to do. So it means that it's much more hectic now than it was before when I was a teenager. So, well, I can say that there's a vast difference between my life then and my present life. You know, when I was a teenager, besides focusing on study, I had much free time to pursue my interests. Like watching films or listening to music. In contrast, my routine and time management have become stricter now. Since I graduated from university and began working as an English teacher, I'm so occupied with work that I have little leisure time. So true. Okay? So I think there's a lot of difference for everyone. Okay? What is the busiest part of the day for you? For me, it's from morning 5 till about 8 o'clock. That is the most busiest time of the day because that's when, you know, I have to get up. I need to make sure everything's, you know, cooked and packed and the kids are, you know, ready for daycare. So that's when I'm really, really busy. So afternoons are the busiest time of the day for me. I work for a UK company and my day starts at 2 p.m. So by 3 p.m., I will be bombarded with client calls and emails and will have no time to breathe. Cool. So moving on. Do you usually have the same routine every day or do you usually do the same things at the same time each day? So I would say mostly yes during weekdays as of now, right? But weekends, of course, I don't stick to the same routine, right? So weekdays, I usually get up early and I usually start off with the lectures early in the morning around 8 o'clock, right? But weekends, I sleep in late, right? So I don't wake up early. I kind of relax a bit and get up a bit late. Mostly, yes, I'm an early bird, though I go to bed late. On weekdays, my work starts at 2 p.m. and I wind up by 11 p.m. On weekends, I go shopping and sleep a bit early. And sleep a little early. I follow this schedule every week and there aren't any major changes unless we have celebrations. So quite a routine person. I would say my weekends aren't routine at all. You know, I get up at random times and I do different things, right? So they aren't as routine as they would be during the weekdays. Moving on. Have you ever changed your routine? Personally, I have changed my routine. you know, before when I was just single, my routine was different. When I married, my routine was different. When I got my first baby, routine was different. When I have 3 babies now, it's completely different. So yes, I would say my routine has changed time to time. Yes, it changed about a month ago. I had a very tight schedule and was struggling to manage my targets. So I had to work late until 2 p.m., right? No, sorry, 2 a.m., right? So change of routine. All right. What would you like to change in your daily routine? As of now, I'm very happy with my daily routine and I don't think I want to change anything. My work starts at 2 p.m. so I laze around until then. I want to use that time productively. Some of my friends go to the gym and I would like to start an exercise regime as well. Nice, a good thought. You could think about, so I said I don't want to change it. The answer states here that he or she would like to change it. So think about what you would like to do. Would you like to change it or leave it as it is? Do you like to plan what you will do each day? Personally, I would like to plan it. I usually have a to-do list and plan the day ahead because I have lots of things to do and I might forget some things, right? So what I do is I usually plan that this is what I'm going to do. These are the things that I need to do and I plan my day out. I prioritize my work, right? Yes, I would like to. Planning keeps the day in your control. The more organized you are, the better your life becomes. I'm pretty orderly at work and I want to be the same way in other activities as well. Okay, nice. So some of the words I'd like you to pick up is orderly. Okay. Planning. Organized, nice words to talk about plan. So all of these questions that I'm doing, they're still part 1 questions, okay? What do you usually do at this time of the day? So I'm assuming that it is the morning time. It is around 10:30 when I go in for the exam. Assumption only, right? It is 10:30 a.m. now. You can find me watching television or reading a magazine, right? Not television, television, okay? You can find me watching television, television, or reading a magazine. Sometimes I go out and talk to my friends. So if it was me, assuming it's a morning, I would say it's 10:30 a.m. now. You would usually find me in a lecture at this time of the day where I'm teaching them communication skills. All right. How do you organize your study time? Well, since I'm not studying now at the moment, I don't put in a plan for that. But I do actually spend some time marking error correction of my students' reports or answers. So then I put in some time for that. So I wouldn't say study time, I would say marking time or reviewing time of my students' work. So then I definitely do it during the weekdays. I do it twice a week in the night after 10 p.m. I stay up till about 2 a.m. to finish off most of my work. I'm pursuing. Pursuing means you're learning, you are studying, right? A course in management along with my work. So I usually study on the weekends, but I want an entire day to myself. I don't study on weekdays as it becomes stressful. Yeah, okay. So I would not talk about a study time because I don't have study time, but you could talk about a study time. So if I didn't have study time, I would change it and answer the way I did before, right? Okay. Now comes part 2. So all this time we were looking at part 1 questions and an examiner could ask you 4 questions on each topic, right? So if it was to describe your routine, you would probably get 4 questions from those kind of probable questions. Now, moving ahead with part 2, describe an occasion when you got up very early. You must tell me when it happened, why you got up early, who you were with, how you felt about getting up early. So this entire one is about a past event. Okay. Now, I would talk about, describe an occasion when you got up early. This happened about 2 months ago. Is it 2 months? May, June, yeah, about 2 months ago. Pick up, family, not too bad. It was not too bad, but I didn't feel happy about it either, right? So, now, in your part 2 or during your part 2, remember, you get, you get 1 minute to prepare yourself, right? You will have to speak close upon 1 to 2 minutes. Why is this happening to me today? Okay, right? So you need, you prepare for about 1 minute. And you will have to speak about 1 to 2 minutes. I'd like to talk about an occasion when I got up very early. This was about 2 months ago when my husband had a really morning, he had to get up really early in the morning to go for a TV program. So he was a presenter. He is actually still a presenter. So he had to get up early morning to go for this poem program. Alright, so talking about an occasion when I got up really early, it was actually 2 months ago, and it wasn't for a special occasion, but this was because my husband had to get up early in the morning and leave. He had an early morning TV program to do. So it was for the Vesak Poya, and they always have this early morning TV program, and he does the opening part of it. So he had to get up early in the morning and leave. Now, obviously, I was with my family and there was no one else, but my mother-in-law had come and she was staying with us. Now, how I felt about it, it wasn't so bad, but I did have mixed feelings, you know. Getting up early in the morning around 1 a.m. isn't the greatest thing because I'd already gone to bed around 11:30. And I can't sleep after that because I feel really uncomfortable. So I had to stay up awake the whole day because obviously I wasn't feeling sleepy. So I was not happy about it at all. But the happy part of it was, you know, when he was leaving, I was up and, you know, you can get to talk to him and I made him a cup of tea. That makes him happy when he's leaving from the house. So that was the only happy part. Apart from that, I was a bit grumpy the whole day and a bit moody. So I don't enjoy getting up early morning like 1 a.m. You can talk about your own occasion, maybe when you got up early, the day you were getting married, because people start dressing you up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Or when it was for me again, where I had to get up around 4 o'clock because I had to get admitted to the hospital around 5:30. So for my little one, the youngest one. So it was like an early morning wake up and I went to bed around 2 o'clock. So it was another crazy day, right? So you could talk about things that pop into your mind, but not many, just an occasion. So it's just going to be one occasion, okay? Now let's have a look at a sample answer. I'm a night owl who usually gets out of bed quite late, ranging from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning. However, there were some occasions when I was forced to get up early, and I still remember the last time I had to get up soon. In September last year, I was offered the first job in my life. At that time, I was a fresh graduate. Thus, nice linking word, I had to move to X city. So X city means any city. You can talk about any city that you like, to join training sessions at the head office of the company. My supervisor booked the flight ticket. Unfortunately, she had no choice but to book an early flight for me at 6 a.m. As I received the ticket information, I was quite anxious about whether I would miss the flight or not. If you're not an early person, getting up early would be really problematic. I set off the alarm on my phone and asked my mother to wake me up in time. Finally, so I asked her to wake me up on time, okay? Think about this. Finally, I made it. Though I felt so sleepy, I fell asleep as soon as I was on the plane. It was such a nerve-wracking experience as it was the first time I went on a plane. It was such a nerve-wracking experience as it was my first time I went on a plane, dealing with all kinds of stuff at the airport in the early morning on my own. Luckily, some kind people were willing to help me with my suitcase, which made that experience less harrowing for me, okay, so which is not very traumatizing. As a youngster, I was in the habit of staying late at night and getting up late too. However, I feel I should change this custom to improve my health. I mean, you wouldn't talk and say custom, you would probably say, I feel I should change this routine, a better word, okay? So I'm just going to jot it down there. To improve my health. Right. Oh, and there's another thing. Please have a look at prepositions on, in, at. Okay, I've done prepositions with you as well, but on, in, at. Do you say on a plane, in a plane, on a bus, in a bus, or at where? Do you say at a plane? Check those prepositions on, in, at. It's really, really useful. Okay, because I've used on a plane here, on the plane, and I'm sure, or on a plane. Can you see here? And I'm sure some of you must be wondering, if you haven't had a chance to look at prepositions, please go back and refer the lesson about prepositions, all right? If not, you can just even Google it and see, but we have a separate lesson about prepositions. It would be good if you could go through that, okay? Right. All right. So, let's have a look at sample answer 2. I am from the lot who love burning the night out. Different. For me, it is easier to stay awake till late than get up early in the morning. Typically like me, I would say. However, there was this one time I had to get up quite early. I got up at 4 a.m. even before dawn. The time was last summer and my family had planned a weekend trip to Rishikesh. Okay, probably a beautiful city located in Uttarakhand, so that is in India. My father is exceptionally disciplined and an ardent fellow of time, so my father's same, okay, he loves to stay on time. He's just completely on time, right? If you say 6, he's ready by 5:30. He'll leave at 6 sharp, right? Thus, he decided that we were to have a road trip that commenced at 6 a.m. So, commenced is when you want to say that it started, okay? Be careful of when you use some words. You might not use it when you speak, okay? And especially with, timelines, think about it before you use some words. While the timing was a bit of a disappointment, the entire idea of the road trip was the highlight that kept me exhilarated. So I desperately tried sleeping early on Friday night, but to no avail. But to no avail. Avail means help, okay? But there was absolutely no help in that, okay? Anyway, I still managed to wake up at 4 in the morning on a Saturday, which was pretty unusual for me. At sharp 6 a.m., all of us, my sister, I think it should be the other way around, my parents, my sister and I, okay? I would rephrase this as my parents, my sister and I began our journey. The early start was indeed a plus point as it gave us extra time to spend in Rikesh, indulging, that is, enjoying, in varying activities. Owing to this journey, I realized the importance of getting up early. Okay? Now, describe your favorite part of the day. You should say when it is. This is a different question, right? But a probable question for part 2. Describe your favorite part of the day. When it is, what you do then, how long it lasts, and explain why this is your favorite part of the day. So, I would say it is the evening to the night time. Okay. So roughly about, say, from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 39, so about 4 hours. About. Now you might be wondering why I'm just scrapping everything out, because they're not for you to really understand. When you're making notes, it's for you to understand, okay? So I will then use this and talk to you so you will understand, okay? Right, so I'd like to describe the favorite part of the day for me is somewhat around 4:30, starting from about 4:30 in the evening till about 8:39ish in the night. Now, what do I do during that time is that's the time when my kids come back from the daycare, and that's the time I get some time to spend with them. So I play with them, sometimes we read books, we sing songs, we watch television, we have movie time. If not, sometimes we watch a cartoon. Apart from that, that is a time, they have an early dinner. So around 6:37, that's the time I get to feed all of them. My eldest son, he eats on his own, but the other two, I feed them, and sometimes I feed my eldest one as well, right? So that gives me time to talk to them, to find out how their day was, what they did, and if they were happy, if anything made them feel sad. So that's the time we have family time. So we all talk to each other, and we spend some good solid family time during our dinner time. And this part of the day for me, probably around, it's not a specific part, but it lasts for about 4.5 hours, because from about 4:30 in the evening till about 8:39ish. And as to why this is the favorite part of the day for me is because that's the time I get to spend with them. The whole day they're out at the daycare, and I don't get to see any memorable moments. Even when they get up, they start walking, I've missed all of that, okay? So when they're at home, I get to see these memorable moments, right? I get to see the fun times when they laugh, when they fight, when they eat something, or when they enjoy something that I've made for them for dinner. So all of these real touchy moments, this is what I get to see during that time. And you know, giving them a hug, spending some time with them makes me feel so good. I forget all the problems, all the stress that I've had during the day. So I really enjoy this part of the day. Right, now if you were to talk about it, you can talk about a favorite part of the day which you really like. It could be the morning, maybe towards the afternoon, maybe towards the evening, early morning, late night, whatever you like to talk about. Now, let's have a look at a sample answer. This is an exciting topic for me to talk about. I want to share with you my favorite part of the day. I'm not an early riser because I often stay up late at night. That's why I can't enjoy the morning much. In contrast, the evening is part of the day that I love the most. To me, the evening starts at the time my working day ends, at around 5 p.m. After that, it's my choice to do anything I want. There are no fixed timings for my evenings. I keep an open mind and do what I want. For an example, on some evenings, I would ask my friends out for a meal, a movie, or a coffee. We get time to share with others anything we want or to keep us updated about others. So like a little chit-chat time. On some other evenings, when there are some interesting seminars, I would join and listen carefully to the speakers sharing. So how they share information and what kind of things they share. When I'm moody, moody means you're not very happy, you're like, oh, grumpy, okay? Or tired, I would prefer private time in my room, turning on soft music, reading books, or just letting my mind free. To some people, I would say for some people, the way I enjoy my evenings is wasteful as they believe that I can do more useful things. However, to me, those kinds of evenings help me refresh myself and recharge my energy, thereby making my life more enjoyable, right? It's a nice way. The student says, well, other people think that I waste time, but personally, I enjoy my own time, right? So, piece of advice, it's good to do things that you enjoy, that keep you going and that makes you refreshed, okay? Not something that someone else wants and makes your life a misery. Right? So, we're nearly getting to the end of it, right? And the student talks more about it. I firmly believe that we should take a certain amount of time off to do nothing. I firmly believe that we should take a certain amount of time off to do nothing, to do what we like and to take a look back. It can help us discover more things about life and ourselves. This kind of explanation is critical for us to know about ourselves. Thus, it can set up an excellent way to develop our strengths as well as minimize our weaknesses. It also boosts our performance in study or work. For this kind of activity, the evening is the best option. Okay? So, student nicely blends in the answer, and I think this is fairly a good answer. Moving on comes part 3. Now, if you got a part 2 question about daily routine or, favorite part of the day, similar topic, then part 3 questions will be related to part 2. Okay? Do you think people need to have a day-to-day plan? Do you think people can still do their tasks if they don't plan them? I personally believe it's good to have a day-to-day plan because then you know these are the tasks that you have to do in advance and you can plan your day out. So that makes you more organized and it makes you a more efficient person. However, I mean, if you can't plan or if you don't plan a certain day, you can still get the tasks done, right? So you don't have to pre-plan, but if it's there on the top of your mind, you don't really plan it, but you get up and think, okay, I've got to do this, right? You don't really pre-plan, you could still get it done. But my personal belief, it's good to plan well in advance. Yes, because a day-to-day plan is a key to effective time management. And if you have a clear plan for the day, you can make the most of your time and accomplish other tasks of the day. In my opinion, nicely signposting, not everyone needs a plan. Few can still do their daily tasks without a plan. So, a little balanced view answering both questions. So this is like a typical question for a part 3 part in your speaking test, right? Now let's have a look at the next question. Do you think it is possible to learn how to manage your time? I think yes. I mean, even as a lecturer, I teach students how they can manage their time and why it is important for time management. Same way, when I was a student, I learned these things. So I definitely agree that it's possible how to manage your time. And it requires a bit of pre-planning. It requires a bit of time to be put in. But once you put that time in, once you pre-plan, then everything moves ahead smoothly. So I strongly believe that yes, you can learn how to manage your time. You could use a diary, you could use to-do lists, you could use your Google Planner, you could use your Google Calendar or any other software that you have, or you could even just write it down on a piece of paper. That's more than enough. Yes, I plan tasks for the day and implement them accordingly, which helps me to manage my time. One can learn how to manage their time by setting goals and prioritizing them wisely. It's better to set a time limit for each task and complete them at the earliest. Quite true. Now, what you need to understand is when it comes to managing time, what kind of words can you use? Managing, time management, scheduling, to-do list, planning, setting goals, prioritizing, right? Important words. One before the last question, right? What are some possible advantages of using a time management app for your phone to help you plan your time? Well, I think there are a few advantages. Firstly, it helps us to see what we have to do, right? So then we can plan ourselves well and we can save time. Secondly, when you have a management app for your time, you could see how much time you spent on each task. Did you finish it early or did you need more time? Now, even though sometimes we set a time limit, we might not be able to finish it during that time. Maybe we underestimated the task, or maybe we were not skilled enough to finish it during the time. So that helps you to review and give yourself a heads up what you're good at and what you need to improve. So I feel that these are some of the advantages. Now here the student talks about some of the things. Some of the possible advantages of time management apps are that we can quickly review the profitability of our projects, prioritize and deliver work on time, reduce our stress levels, make bill payments on time, and so on. Nice. The time management app can be ideal for understanding all extra budgets as well. Hence, they are productive and effective. I haven't actually used such a time management app where we could manage our budget and bills, but if there are some, that would be great. Okay. Last question for the lesson. Why do you think some people don't plan their day in advance? I mean, I just feel some people just bat the day as it comes. They don't have big plans, they don't have big dreams, and they don't see the point of planning. If so, they wouldn't plan their day. Some people avoid planning their day in advance because they are worried that their plan won't work or is not good enough. While some people are good at making a plan, they procrastinate. Procrastinate means put it back. I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it in the evening. I'll do it in the night. When it comes to implementing, that's the same. I know so many people like that. Oh, you know what? We'll do it. Even I'm like that sometimes. Okay. So I think, okay, I'll do it in the night. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow morning. I'll just, sleep a bit today. I do that sometimes, right? And then that creates chaos, right? But most people tend to have that as a habit. Then that's not good, okay? Right, we've done a lot of speaking around this topic, right? So we've looked at daily routine, and we've had a look at probable part 1 questions, 2 cue cards that could pop up for your part 2, and a few questions that could come around for your part 3. So with that, we end the lesson, which was about daily routine, and we touched on speaking part 1, part 2, and part 3 topics. With that, we have touched the lesson around describing daily routine, but we've touched on speaking part 1, part 2, and part 3 questions.